The history of our earthly existence has always been filled with intriguing stories of unexplained disappearances of people, mysterious occurrences, some of which are literally fascinating and inexplicable. Sometimes these stories are like fairy tales, with a distinct flavor of fiction, but there are also those that are confirmed by archival records and documents. And today, I am going to tell you about some of the most mysterious and unexplained disappearances. Enjoy the show. The disappearance of Oliver Lerch. The story of Oliver Lerch's disappearance is quite similar to the also known case of David Lang's disappearance. Yes, the American farmer who vanished into thin air right in the middle of his ranch in front of his family. So what happened to Oliver Lerch on Christmas Eve, 1889, on one of the beautiful winter evenings? 11-year-old Oliver went out into the yard to draw water from the well. He just vanished into thin air. There was only a string of footprints in the snow, which abruptly broke off halfway to the well. By the way, a little later, the bucket with which Lerch had gone for water was found abandoned a few meters away from the traces. Some witnesses said they heard a boy screaming for help. When the adults went outside, though, there was no one there. There were just some broken footprints in boots on the freshly fallen snow, lit up by the dim light of a lantern. The case is said to have occurred in the late 19th century in Indiana. However, other sources in the documents mention North Wales. Anyway, this story is much more interesting than it seems at first glance, and I'll post the full version of it as soon as this video gets 100 likes. Lighthouse Keepers. In December 1900, 3 lighthouse workers disappeared without a trace from Flanham Island's lighthouse. Despite numerous further searches, the workers were never found. According to official reports, their disappearance is explained by the fact that they were washed into the ocean by a large wave. As you and I know, the official sources are far from the truth. Anything could have happened to the poor lighthouse keepers, from the most eerie and paranormal versions. You can also write your versions in the comments under this video. We'll go to the next story. Bennington Triangle. From the 1920s through the 1950s, Bennington, Vermont, experienced a series of mysterious disappearances that defied logical explanation. Here are a few of them. The first case of a person going missing in the Bennington Triangle was on November 12, 1945. It involved 74-year-old Mitty Rivers, who was leading a group of 4 hunters. Rivers disappeared in the mountains between the Long Trail and the US 9 highway. The group was returning from the mountains when Rivers walked ahead of the other hunters and was never seen again. Another person went missing along the Long Trail. This was 18-year-old Paula Jean Weldon, a student at Bennington College. She disappeared on December 1, 1946, on a hiking trip. The search for her also yielded no results. On December 1, 1949, James Statford, a soldier traveling there, disappeared from a crowded bus. The former military man was on the bus with 14 other passengers who saw him sleeping in his seat. When the bus reached its destination, James seemed to disappear. All his belongings, luggage, and a brochure with the bus schedule were left lying around, and the man himself was never found. I've already discussed this and other similar stories in one of my past videos. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Here are a couple of other strange occurrences in the Bennington Triangle. In mid-October 1950, 8-year-old Paul Jebson went missing from a farm. Paul's mom, who made her living caring for animals, left him playing peacefully near the pigsty. After a while, she came back, but he wasn't there. The police officers made a big search, but found nothing. Despite the fact that the guy was wearing brightly colored clothes that should have made him stand out in the woods, the search parties couldn't find him. Incidentally, the search dogs led to the same spot where Paula Weld was last seen 4 years ago. Another mystery shrouded in darkness. The fifth and last of the documented disappearances also happened in October 1950. Local resident Freda Langer, 53, and her cousin Herbert Elsner decided to go hiking from a campground near Somerset. After she stumbled and fell into a creek, she told her brother she'd go back to the campground to change her clothes. That was the last time she was seen alive. She never came back to the campground. The search involved 300 people, including aircraft, but they couldn't find any trace of the missing woman. It was not until early May 1951 that Frida's body was found near the reservoir. But during the search 7 months earlier, these places had been thoroughly but fruitlessly combed by searchers. The woman's death was so long ago that its cause could not be determined. Frida Langer was the last victim of the Bennington Triangle, and the only one whose body was found. There is no direct connection between the 5 episodes, only a common location and time period. Some have speculated that the missing people in the Bennington Triangle may have been victims of a serial killer, but there is no pattern in the choice of victims. An old man, a beautiful girl, an elderly man, an 8-year-old boy, and an elderly woman. It's pretty strange and hard to understand. Missing disabled man. Owen Parfitt, like the other people mentioned in this video, just vanished into thin air. He is a 60-year-old man who was paralyzed as a result of a massive stroke. In June 1763, he was on the porch of his sister's house as usual. The immobilized man sat quietly in a chair while the weather deteriorated and the haying workers hurried to finish their work. Around 7 p.m., Suzanne asked a neighbor to help her carry her brother's chair into the house. When they reached Parfitt's chair, the man was not there. All that was left of him was his coat. We still don't know what happened to the man, but this case is one of the most mysterious and inexplicable we've seen. Mysterious disappearance at Stonehenge. The mysterious Stonehenge became the site of a disappearance in August 1971. At that time, the site was not yet closed to the public, and one night, a group of teenagers decided to pitch tents right in the center of the structure. They set up their tents, lit a fire, sat around it, and began to sing their songs. Their fun was cut short at about 2 a.m. by a violent thunderstorm. The lightning bolts were so bright that they lit up everything around them. At the time, a local police officer was patrolling the area and said he saw the whole of Stonehenge filled with a blue glow coming directly from the sky. From somewhere nearby, a farmer appeared and became the second official witness, who later confirmed what the police officer had said. The 2 witnesses, the farmer and the police officer, said that the stones began to glow with a powerful blue glow, so bright that they had to avert their eyes. They heard screams and rushed to the tent camp, thinking they'd find injured or even dead people. To their surprise, there was no one there. All they found were the smoldering remains of tents and an extinguished campfire. The teenagers had disappeared without a trace. It sounds a bit creepy and seems pretty implausible. Some people are still convinced that a policeman could be passing by. But where did a farmer come from at 2 in the morning near Stonehenge? You have to accept the facts, though. For example, police reports list the names of these missing tourists, and there are diary entries from one of the missing, Velma Rupert. She writes, "It's noisy outside, and lightning strikes the trees. Sherry is afraid, but she should be afraid of something else. The blue glow is very close. If anyone finds this entry, tear down this place." The handwriting is illegible. Ufologists believe that Stonehenge is a portal to another dimension. Its structure can also be used as a landing place for aliens. In 1971, a UFO may have flown here and abducted a group of tourists. Naturally, skeptics don't take this story seriously, but the diaries exist, and the tourists who disappeared couldn't be found. As you can imagine, camping at Stonehenge is now illegal. So where do people from stories like this disappear to? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.